The building, Doc and Mike, bam. All right, we in the building, y'all.
I'm here to stay.
We in the
Yo.
yo. What's up? What's up? This is your boy Planet Montana. Oh, this is not that show. This is Dr. Sims. Here we go.
Why did the football coach went to the bank?
Why did the football coach go to the
You guys know
bank? He
why?
is so funny. I love Giannis.
Why did the football coach go to the bank?
Yeah, go to the bank.
Bank. To the bank. Okay.
You get his quarterback.
Good evening, everybody. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Doc, and that's Mike on the mic. He's checking his notes. He's sending it out a list and making sure everybody's online. Mike, how you doing, big man?
I'm doing better now that we're live.
We are Live.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, we on special tonight for several reasons. One big reason is so much going on. It's a selection Sunday, and we just want to come on a special night. We had a lot going on last week, but I said, Mike, let's do a Sunday night when I get through traveling. Had an hour bereavement, had a home going for one of my dear friends, stepdad, and so we said, let's come on Sunday night. And so Sunday night is a good thing we did because we got breaking news, everybody. Look at this, breaking news, and we're going to talk about this during the first segment of our show. Tom Brady unretires. We're going to talk about all the trades. I'm a little hurt tonight because Amari Cooper is no longer a Cowboy. Aaron Rodgers still a Packer.
I'm not.
I know, right? Aaron Rodgers still a Packer. Kirk Cousins is still a Viking. He's got a new deal. Mike will go over that. He's got a new deal, but there's no trade clause in his contract. So that means that another team could come in there and swoop him up if they so choose. MLB is back. MLB is back. Baseball is back, everybody. So the players are happy. The owners are happy. The fans are happy. Today is Selection Sunday, so we won't go into it today, but we'll go into it next Friday, and we'll finish up our first round of the NFL mock draft. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to start it off. What do you think about Tom Brady coming back here? I think you kind of hinted to that. He ain't done. He ain't done. Talk to us, Mike.
Yeah, there's, of course, this is not to diminish his wanting to stay back. You can't tell an athlete.
You sure can.
You can't tell him when to quit.
That's
just like
right.
You can't tell a person to retire.
That's
Most
right.
people retire and they don't really retire. They just,
That's right.
They want that. They want that name to themselves, but they're still going to work. They're going to do something to stay busy. Tom Brady doesn't want to retire the way he retired. I think that one of the things that's benefiting to him is to retire and have a curtain call for him. And if
Right.
anybody in the NFL deserves that, Tom Brady deserves that. He's
I
won more
agree.
than enough.
I
And
agree.
he showed that he didn't need Belichick for that. So I'm not upset with him. I think, kudos to him. If you want to come back
Right.
and have a curtain call throughout the season, everywhere you go, Tom Brady's last season, then do that. You deserve it.
Yeah, the Bucks, they're still a contender, and he's got to get some more pieces around him. So it was some news that him and Bruce Arians kind of didn't get along, but Bruce Arians is not Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is not Bruce Arians, so they kind of ironed that out. They just ran into a hot team. The Rams were hungry. The Rams were hungry. Their secondary was hurt pretty much all year, so that was an Achilles heel for them. So we'll see if they tighten up the screws through free agency. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers?
Well,
Go ahead.
I hope somehow, some way, somebody drops a screw and just don't tighten it. He can get his little farewell tour. Excuse me. But I don't want them screws to be completely tightened, if you know what I mean.
I know. Oh, speaking of trades, and you called this one. I believe Carson Wentz is in the NFC East again.
Stop. Leave the best for last.
Okay, my bad.
Team will be talked about. But I want that to be talked about a little bit later once we get some of these good old news in here. Including the fact that them boys just lost their number one receiver.
You and I play Madden football, and here's my controller. There's no way you or I, and you're not a Cowboy fan, but there's no way you would trade Amari Cooper for a 6th round draft pick, a 5th round draft pick,
I
essentially.
yeah, I like like we talked about off the air. I there's just certain
Come on, come on.
it baffles me
That's a good
that
word. That's a
there
good word.
are yeah it baffles me that
Yeah,
there are uh people in charge that can still hold grudges.
that's amazing. That's
You know,
amazing. Yeah.
my deal with this situation is, am I happy that he's gone? Yeah, of course.
The fan side of the house. The fan
Does
side of the
my
house.
smile from ear to ear say something about that?
Right.
Yes, of course.
What's that? Yes. Yes.
But but the fact is, that I think that this is a Jerry Jones situation. I don't know if you heard that they weren't necessarily happy with him,
Right.
and there was occasions where I guess they had rifts in the locker room
Yeah.
with between him and
Dak.
the Black Kirk Cousins. I mean
Yeah.
Dak Prescott,
Yeah.
where he apparently got upset with Dak and told him that he was the Black Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
in which Dak went into a fury fire
Yeah.
storm and was very upset about it.
You know.
But
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
And to
If you
that
want to,
point.
if you're going to say that he's compared to somebody, if you put that analogy of the closest one that you can compare him to is the Black Kirk Cousins, I
And
think that is well put.
and to your point, that NFC wildcard game, he did not play his best football. He was tight. I don't know. He was trying to do too much. He just didn't get. You know how some games are. Again, on Madden, you wanna win so bad. You and I got a game later on tonight, and I want to beat you. And so
You
I
will.
start pressing. I start
You will.
pressing, and he
You heard
was
it here first.
pressing. And Dak, I'm a little disappointed that he would get. And again, we don't know all the details, but I'm a little taken aback that he would get in his feelings. He should agree. I played like dog poo poo. I did. I played, and I got to get this monkey off my back. So it's like Russell Westbrook is getting mad. People call him Russell Westbrook. It's impacting my family. I can't bring my family to the game. Y'all are talking about me. Win, win, win. Well, play better. Play better. Play better. And so Dad, bless his heart, you you just got rid of your number one receiver. You did it with Dez. You got rid of Dez and got Amari. You let Amari walk, and now CD better produce. Cedric Wilson better produce. Michael Gallup better produce. Okay?
Well, that's the thing. They also just resigned Michael Gallup.
Okay.
So if they are thinking, if the thought process was mainly, and this is why, taking away the hatred,
Come on.
that I don't hate anyone
Right.
in life aside of the Cowboys. Let me see. No, I don't think so. It's just them.
Come on.
So aside of just hating them, putting that aside, and let's speak with our professional.
Okay, I understand.
Insights.
Professional insight.
So speaking on that alone,
Right.
you say to yourself, why would you, in your right mind, say that you're going to be better off not having him around? That's number one.
That's number one.
Number two, why would you say to yourself that getting rid of him because of a rift between him and Dak, fine, you get rid of him. That's okay. You feel like Dak is more of a need for you guys since you gave him as much money as you gave him. It's all understandable. But then you go off and say, you know what? You and Dak had a fight, and we're going to be on Dak's side. Not only are we going to be on Dak's side, but we're going to be stupid as well, and we're going to just give you away. We're going to make you feel like you're worth nothing by just giving you away for a fifth and a sixth.
And this is
And not only are we going to give you a fifth and a sixth, but we're also going to add a fifth to make it so that we only gave you away for a sixth. So that's what you're worth, a six to us.
That
Okay, you're
that
worth a
blows my
six to
mind.
you make him feel that way, but then you go into another level of stupidity
Petty,
when you say,
petty, petty,
yeah, yeah,
petty.
you go into another level where you're saying, I'm not making good decisions for this company because their team is their company. It's his company. And you're putting yourself where you're not getting
Blows my mind.
something else in return for you to be able to keep on building. But
Blows
you
my
know
mind.
what? Like I said, from the bottom of my heart, I'm happy that they did that stupid move. But in a professional world, that is very stupid. And if he was the general manager, I would be firing him for doing something like
You
that.
already know.
But
You
he's the
already know.
owner, so that he gets away with doing that kind of stuff.
You
And
already
that's
know.
why I'm happy that, you have a guy of that kind of small mindset running a team like that.
And we have not been back to the Super Bowl since 1995, and you wonder why. But let's keep it moving.
Guess who why did the coach not come back?
No, I'm saying we have not been
No,
back to the
the
Super
last
Bowl.
Super Bowl you guys. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't the last Super Bowl you guys won because you won after he. But
Yeah, yeah.
who was your best coach?
Jimmy Johnson, hands down. Well,
Exactly.
Tom
So why
Landry
was
was
Jimmy
good.
Johnson let go?
Well, again, Jerry Jones, his ego,
Exactly.
his
So
ego.
all those good decisions that he makes you see the real owner. And we here in Washington,
Come
and
on.
I say Washington. I'm not going to say the Commanders much. You won't hear me say Commanders here much. What you will hear, people, is I will say the artist formerly known as the Redskins.
And that's sufficient. And good evening again, everybody. Good evening again, everybody. I'm Doc. He's Mike, and we're on the mic, and we're going through trades. And the next trade we're going to talk about is Khalil Mack is back in the AFC West, I believe.
And the impact of that trade is crazy. But
What
I'll
you
let
thinking?
you take
What
the
you
floor. Go
thinking?
ahead, Doc.
What you thinking?
What do you think about that trade?
Well, it bolstered the Chargers defense. They good on the offensive side of the ball. Now you got Bosa on one side. Think about it. You got Bosa on one side, Khalil Mack on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Patrick Mahomes, and the next trade we're going to talk about Russell Wilson, and then you got the Raiders, David Carr. They're gonna be running for their lives. I'm telling you, if the Chargers needed to do something to shoot themselves in the arm to get them over the hump, I think this is probably gonna be one of the best moves in the offseason.
I believe this is such a beautiful move. It's beyond me. I told you in past show that
Come on,
the Chargers are not the Cinderella. They're not the pig with a lipstick on.
right,
None of that. They're
right,
like the ugly duckling of the NFL. Nobody really thinks of them, but they
right.
stay relevant.
That's a good point.
Nonetheless, you know who they remind me of?
Who?
Not sure if you're too familiar with them, but there used to be a team in baseball, the Montreal Expos. I'm sure
Okay.
you,
Yeah.
the very minimum, have heard of them.
Yep.
But they were like bad,
Okay. Bad.
considered bad. But
I remember that.
Yet
Yeah.
they had a coach in Alou who kept them relevant.
Right.
And they produced the likes of Vladimir Guerrero, who's
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer,
Listen
Pedro
at you.
Martinez, who's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
They produced some good, Larry Walker,
Yeah.
also a Hall of Famer. They produced a lot of players through that team. Now,
Yeah.
my thing with the Chargers is that, to me, and it's not about who. I'm not sure who's making the decisions. Sometimes the coach is involved.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
even the quarterback is involved. Whoever's making decisions for them right now, they're playing chess while everybody else is playing chess.
That's
That move to me was checkmate in the AFC in
I
their
love
division.
it. I love it. I love it.
They said to the other teams in the Chiefs, the Broncos said, we're going to have a quarterback now. But guess what?
That's right.
Okay, get your quarterback.
That's right.
Okay, we're gonna come and hit you with a queen, and we're going to checkmate. Now you have Khalil and Bosa coming off both ends.
Oh my
What
Lord.
are you going to do about that?
That's
To
serious.
me,
That's
this
serious.
is probably going to be, like you said, the top move that people are just not talking about.
That's a good
But when
point.
next year comes around, I believe that the Chargers are going to shut people up.
I do
If you don't
too.
want to talk about us, we're going to force you to talk about it.
Because I mean they beat the Chiefs. They beat them. They split with the Chiefs last season, and they didn't have Khalil Mack.
And that's with a younger minded Herbert.
that
I think that he's only going to get better as the years go. Next season, there should be, I would hope. Again, I don't like the Chargers are not my team. The
right,
Washington
right,
artist formerly known as the Redskins.
right.
They're my team,
Ding.
but I think that Herbert is one of the quarterbacks that are going to be talked about in the future as like in the likes of like the Brady's, the Mannings, the Breeze. He's going to be one of those guys. He
I
has
totally
that
agree.
factor.
Okay, we're gonna stay in the AFC West. Russell Wilson is a Denver
Yeah,
Bronco now.
take the floor.
I think they needed a quarterback, so they say Teddy
course.
Bridgewater was serviceable. Drew Lock, not so much. They just weren't sold on Drew Lock. I don't know what the likeness of when they drafted him 5 seasons ago, but he just never panned out. They didn't really have confidence in him, so they've been looking
They
for a
brought Teddy.
quarterback. They brought in Teddy. Teddy again. They beat the Cowboys.
Mm,
Moment of silence. They beat the Cowboys, but they don't feel like upper management, John Elway and company, doesn't feel like he can get them over the hump. So they pursued Russell Wilson, and
mm.
I think now they gave up a lot. The Broncos gave up a lot to get him, and like you said last week, if you want the quarterback, if you want the player you want, you got to pay the price. So they gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds. They gave up a couple of players. Noah Fant, your favorite player in Madden. They gave up Noah Fant. They gave up Drew Lock. And so guess what? And I heard the Odd Couple talk about. I listened to the Odd Couple on sports radio, and they were like, now what do you think Seattle's going to do? Go look for a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, now they didn't have a first round pick, but now they have. They have assets that they can put together to try
Right.
to get themselves someone else.
So who do you think? What do you think they're going to do?
Seattle.
Yeah.
First, before I answer that,
Okay.
let me put a little raindrop into this little trade.
Okay.
I am 100% happy that Wilson didn't come to the artist formerly known as the Redskins.
You are not by yourself.
Because I knew the price that you would have to pay for that.
Understand.
That type of move.
Right.
I knew the price that you had to pay for Aaron Rodgers' move.
Right.
Would I have been happy if they won a Super Bowl with one of them? Of course.
Of course.
But the thing with me is that everything that they gave out of all of that,
Okay.
the one visual that I kept on seeing was that the Broncos gave up Noah Fant.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's not a because of Madden situation. That is 100% solely
Right.
because they also gave up defensive tackle Harris. That's just you're giving up young,
Talent.
promising talent, along with these first and second. I mean,
They going all in. They pushing their chips to the middle of the table.
What's his name? They're giving up Drew Luck was expected.
Yeah, yeah,
Anybody that would get Wilson, you would expect for them to get a quarterback in return as a
right,
replacement.
right.
But to give up that amount of draft capital plus all these players, that's just crazy.
Listen at you.
And
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people are
yeah.
talking like the Broncos are the winner of that situation. I don't know what they're thinking about.
I'm
I think the
I'm
winners of that
scratching.
situation is 100% the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm scratching my
Oh, they don't
head
have a
too.
quarterback now. They can get themselves a quarterback.
Yeah,
They,
Drew Lock had
whether
a
it's
couple some.
trade or the draft, but they
Yeah,
got more than enough capital to be.
yeah,
They got the ninth pick.
yeah. And you're saying, and what you're saying is the defensive players going to go so quick off the board that at number 9 they might be sitting. They might get the number
They can
one
get whoever they
quarterback.
want.
They could get the number one quarterback out of this draft class. They could
They
get the
can get whoever they want because nobody is going in the top 5. No quarterback is going in the top 5 unless the NFL is filled with a lot of GMs who, when you speak of quarterbacks,
right.
it's almost like stupid comes into play.
Wow.
I need that. It's too shiny. I gotta get. Look, be smart, but somebody always has to do too much or give too much. So some teams might pull and say, "Hey, I want to move into the 5th pick."
Yeah.
I don't believe someone will. I think Seattle will probably, if they're going to pick a quarterback, they're probably going to be the ones to get
Yeah.
whoever they want.
Hey, football fan. Good evening, everybody. I'm Doc. That's Mike, and we Doc and Mike on
My
the
guy,
mic.
YOLO.
Yeah, football fan just put a note in the chat and said that Brady's last touchdown football sold in the auction yesterday for $547,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that football is going to be called now the last football that Brady threw in his almost retired year.
That's now that you say that, I bet that when they did that, now whoever did that feels like so stupid right now.
well, they'd be like,
Hey,
oh.
why you do that?
He said, I want a refund, man. I want a refund.
Yeah, whoever has that now, they're gonna be like, hey, I paid for that. What the hell?
Yeah, thank you. Well, listen, and okay, the next trade we got to talk about. Well, not a trade before we get to the Washington, the team formerly known as the Redskins. But what do you think about? And you would not have done this. And I talked in our chats that a lot of people think, well, Bobby Wagner had a down year, but Seattle just did this to him, just cut him, just dropped him. What do you think about that?
Wagner.
Bobby, you know who I want him to go to. Look, you know who I want him to go to.
Believe me. Hey, Doc. There's something on your screen.
Hey, football fan. You know who I want him to go to, football fan. But what's up with Bobby Wagner, Doc?
You know, we're not in Halloween. You don't have to try to scare people with that.
Come on, what you think?
So, I think that there's just certain teams in the NFL right now
Okay.
that if you put him on that team, that defense is just going to be crazy. Yes, your Dallas cheerleaders, Cowboys are one of them because if you put him next to Parsons,
Come on.
along with that D-line, which that D-line might be taking a huge hit if by the release of
DeMarcus Lawrence.
exactly. That
You know
dude
we
is a
know.
beast.
You know we
They're
know.
also most likely going to lose Gregory. So the reason why, if they don't keep those two linemen, the impact is not going to be as big.
I understand. That's a good point.
But on one defense that he would probably, it would turn that defense to switch.
Just like that.
I hate to say it because I know that this is not a homebody speaking.
Okay.
But if you look at the artist formerly known as the Redskins,
Come on.
if you
come on.
look at they drafted Jamin Davis last year.
That's right.
They got Holcomb. In the defensive line that they have, if you threw
Jonathan
him
Allen.
in there in
Jonathan
the
Allen.
middle and put Holcomb and Davis on the sides, that defense would automatically flip a switch.
It would be crazy. Don't
It
you
would be
have
crazy
you have
because
Chase
he
on one
is
side?
100% still productive.
Yeah,
He's
that would
not
be
as
crazy.
fast, but he was too fast for a linebacker of his size. So he still has speed.
That's right.
And to put him to command that defense in the middle, let him be that Mike, that's just, to me, that's crazy. But,
Dog.
you know,
Dog.
we're definitely going to see who he's going to land with. I would definitely love to see him land with Washington because I think that that would probably be a good place for him to thrive. Now that they have on the opposite side of the football, they're starting to get some of those things together.
I totally agree. All right, Aaron Rodgers is still a Packer. What do you think?
I don't care what he says. Whether I didn't want $50 million. Yes,
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well,
who doesn't want $50 million?
I
Please
mean,
tell me.
Since
So,
you're offering it
yeah,
to me,
Yeah, we can shorten this conversation with Aaron Rodgers, as I'm sure you will be happy for
I know.
ever again. But he will to stay with the Vikings,
Right.
and the 35 mil. You heard it here first.
Come on.
I think that 35 mil is pretty much a sign and trade.
Okay.
They took the no trade clause out.
Right.
So that he is not able to say where he goes next.
Right.
So that to me says they probably already have something in place.
You probably right, Mike. I love your sports IQ, man. You probably right.
They probably have something in place, and this is probably something that they already talked about with somebody and said, look, we're going to have to sign him, get him signed, and we'll do it. It's pretty much like a sign and trade deal.
Right.
And he'll be playing for somebody else.
I totally agree, man. I'm just excited about the upcoming football season, my brother. All
right, if this was a soap opera, this would be the most watched soap opera to ever.
That's a great way to put it. And the second most watched soap opera, well, maybe third, because NBA is pretty hot right now. MLB is back. MLB is back, man. so why let everybody know, why were the players on strike? Why did they strike for the? Anytime you strike is too long, but for the few days they won't strike, a couple of weeks they won't strike. What was the issue?
What is the biggest problem in humanity?
I say,
in my opinion, is greed.
Greed. You took the words out of my mouth. GREED.
The reason why they were in strike is just straight out greed. I don't care if the players want to say, oh, it's not fair. Is that there are issues on what's not fair from both sides.
Right.
Only when you put it as, yes, the owners are making so much money off of these guys. Yes, of course.
Of course.
But the fact of the matter is that they're all getting a lot of money.
I totally agree.
More.
Come on back. There we go. Come on back. Check this run.
This is the fastest man in the NFL draft. Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver Baylor, ran a 4.21.
You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
You froze on me. You back?
Okay. Sorry about that.
You okay? But you said, okay, greed, and now, everybody's back
greed,
together.
Yeah, the greed of that, and the fact that now they came back and they surprised with some rule changes, which are exciting because they decided they had the DH, that's the designated hitter.
Right.
It was only for the American League, and they have decided now it's going to go for the American League and the National League, which evens the playing field by 100. it now the National League is going to be able to have an additional batter, which they had to
Oh,
play with 8 batters and 1 pitcher. The pitchers don't normally bat as much. It's pretty much like having whoever's on defense has an automatic out whenever the pitcher comes to bat.
of course,
Not many
of course.
pitchers bat well. So the
Okay.
American League has 9 batters. So they have the up and up whenever that happens.
Oh, I
But
got
now
you.
having the universal designated hitter, they all are going to be able to sign extra guys because now they can sign guys. There's guys that are getting later in their years or just they're not good on defense.
But
So
but they can still.
but they can still bat well. So what happens is that
Okay.
those guys normally a national league team would want to sign one of these guys, but they
Uh,
don't do it because they're not going to be able to play on the field. So therefore, they let the American League sign those players. So they
oh, I
strictly
got it
stay in the
now.
American League, but now the National League will be able to take the opportunity to be able to sign some of these guys themselves,
Oh, I
and
like
it's
that.
it's it's an A+ move. But another thing that is, I wish the NBA does this a lot. They're fighting with
Okay.
how to make the All-Star game better. It sucks in the NBA.
It sure
It
does.
sucks in the NFL. The NHL has a great All-Star game. Now the Major League Baseball has put something in place where this to me probably is going to be tops as far as All-Star games goes for sports because they have what they call, the NBA has the dunk contest, the 3-point
Right,
contest,
right,
the
right.
skill challenge. The Major League Baseball, they have the home run derby before the actual All-Star game. So
Okay.
what they decide to do now is that they decided that instead of just having the home run derby, which they're still going to have,
Right.
if the All-Star game goes into overtime, pretty
Okay.
much
Okay.
extra innings, they're going to, instead of playing extra innings, they're
Okay.
going to have a home run derby between both teams.
I like that.
People love watching a ball go far. So this is
Be like,
this is time consuming. This is they're cutting time of having to play extra innings, and they're making it fun for people to sit there and watch and hope that they do go into extra innings because they want to see some of these all-stars battle it out in the
okay.
home run game.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's
You
exciting.
that sounds good, man. And the last thing on our agenda today, this is Selection Sunday, and so we're gonna go over March Madness next Friday. We're gonna finish our first round of the NFL mock draft next Friday as well. We'll be back at our regular time next Friday. JJ Burden is coming on the show. I was texting with him Friday, and he has a prior engagement this Friday, but he's looking at his calendar to see which Friday he's going to share with us. So we're really excited about having JJ on here, and we got a couple of other names in the queue that we're looking at. So, Mike, is this not an exciting time in sports?
Yeah, it's very exciting, and I'm glad that these moves are starting so early because it's giving us an ability to be able to produce a good show for everyone.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Well, listen, what's for dinner tonight? Are we doing steaks?
Well, we still haven't talked about the best situation.
See there. He gonna talk about
This
see
is
see.
why I wanted to talk about it.
I see. He thought. Yeah, I was trying to get out of here before we talk about it. But
You're not going to get me on that.
but oh boy, now you may or may not agree with me on this.
Mhm.
When the previous talk for Carson Wentz to be traded or trade Nick Foles, and you and I were just becoming friends around that time. My attitude was I would have kept Nick Foles and shipped Carson at that time, but they shipped him a couple seasons ago. They shipped him to the Colts last season, and now they shipping him from the Colts to your team, the Washington, I can say Commanders with no remorse, but you say the team formerly known as the Redskins. What's the message boards talking about now that y'all got Carson? What y'all talking about?
There's mixed feelings all across the board. There's a lot of
Mixed feelings. Okay.
people who have of course, he has character issues.
Yeah.
The leadership issues. And
Right.
one of the things that aside of the fact that I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all.
Okay.
Okay. But one of the things that really got to me was that to know that he apparently, now I say apparently because I don't know him enough to be able to 100% say this is 100%
We're going to say
accurate.
apparently.
But he's a man of God.
Okay.
And not only is he a man of God, but he at least attempts to follow through with what he knows.
Okay.
And that to me speaks loudly to a person who, at the very minimum, attempts to
do the right thing. Do the right thing.
And live right.
Okay.
So
okay.
If he is, hopefully he sees the light at the end of this tunnel.
Okay.
And says to himself, it's okay to adjust sometimes.
That's right.
If I had some flaws, like I tell my kids, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about you saying to yourself, am I going to keep repeating this?
Yeah, am I going to keep tripping over the same thing?
Because I tell them, at this time, you're starting to be insane. The definition of insanity is,
Yeah.
So,
amen.
Therefore, is Carson going to adjust this time or allow this to keep on going with the same thing from one team to the next? Now, a lot of people say that they hate the fact that he's here because of some of these things that they hear about him. But then you have teammates posting on Twitter and Instagram and certain other places where they're saying that that's BS and they can't believe which is one of the Colts' number one outspoken and best players,
right?
The linebacker. He comes out and he says that he is upset that he's gone.
Yeah,
and wished him well with Washington.
Right.
So and then there was other players that did it as well. So he must not be as bad as some of these people. Put him out there.
You tick on one person.
Some people are going to like you. Some people are not.
That's exactly right.
That's just the way it is. And I'm not saying it because he's with our team now. I'm saying it because that's just how life is.
You're
some
gonna make
will like you, some will hate you.
Yeah.
But hopefully he takes this opportunity that if there is any doubt of his leadership, hopefully he takes this opportunity and says, "Let me prove that I can lead you guys to the playoffs." I'm not talking about Super Bowl.
I hear
because
you.
I don't want nobody saying like, "Oh, you guys think you're going to win Super Bowl."
Let's just make it to the playoffs.
I just want it. Let's talk about get somebody to the playoffs.
Let's get to the
playoffs.
playoffs.
From there, work yourself. If you had issues at having late game heroics and things like that, try to fix them with this team, because one of his biggest one of the biggest things that he's going to be running himself into now is he has never played with a number one receiver.
Ever.
His number one receiver was
That's
Ertz.
true. That's right. That's exactly
tight
right.
end, Doc.
That was his blanket.
He
That was his
is
security
going to have a
blanket.
legitimate number one in McLaurin.
That's right. Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, and not only is he going to have McLaurin, but hopefully Samuels is going to be back. And who knows if we pick up another wide receiver. So the fact that he's going to have McLaurin, and McLaurin hasn't had a true passer passing him the ball and making more catches, that boy is out there open so many times and they just don't get him the ball. I can only imagine what's going to happen now with somebody that can actually get the ball too.
I know. What you saying? His nickname 7-Eleven.
So hey, he's open. He must be at least cousins with it.
Well, I thought real quickly, a couple of minutes. I thought the knock against Carson Wentz would be not only his rapport in the locker room, if you will, but I thought it would be his injury history. He's injury prone.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
But the injury situation is one that, hey, it's going to be there whether we like it or not. So what we have to make sure as our team is what's going to happen next. Are we going to, if he gets injured, Heineken, as I like to say,
Heineken.
is he going to be the one to come in after him, or are we going to draft a guy? Now, my deal with this whole situation is when he was with Philly, Jalen was his backup.
That's right.
They drafted him. What happened there?
That's right.
There was a bit of a rift with him because why are you drafting a quarterback? So we obviously know that he's that type of person.
That's right. That's right.
You don't need somebody else. I'm here. Well, you get injured, so we have to have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
That's the management's point of view. But his point of view is, I don't like that feeling. So what is Washington going to do now? Are they going to draft another quarterback and make him feel uncomfortable before he even hits the field? Or is this going to be a situation where he's with Washington for at least 3 seasons at the very most?
Right.
3 seasons. Is this their move at quarterback and keeping Heineken back there as his backup? Or are they going to draft somebody and possibly have this be a circus show again?
Richard Perez says that number one, he keeps getting injured because he keeps getting hit, but that problem should be taken care of in Washington because y'all got a beast of a running back in that backfield. So Carson shouldn't have to run that much.
I'll get to that too because I'll correct you on that one, sir.
Okay.
But that situation is not necessarily 100%, and Richard is right when he says that, because just because I'm saying what I'm saying doesn't believe that that's what I believe.
I hear you. And his second point is
that we should draft a quarterback because the situation lies in the fact that we need to be prepared, and it's not about feelings. Just like I told you that I don't attach myself to players. I attach myself to my team.
Right.
So if you play for us and produce, I love you. If you leave, see you later. You know what I mean? So if he wants to get upset, this is where he learns. Am I going to step up and change this narrative, or am I going to go back to the same thing? Step up.
Yeah. Make some plays.
Be who you should be. Be the leader. The quarterback gets paid strong. To me, is as strong of a quarterback.
Right.
Some people